Straight from New Jersey, it's the SNL Nerds, the show where two comics from New Jersey nerd out over Saturday Night Live. I'm your co-host, John Trumbull.
I'm your co-host, Darren Patterson.
Hey, Darren, how you doing?
I'm doing good. You know, the Earth is ending and whatnot, but I'm in good spirits.
Yeah, how are you doing with the whole end times coronavirus self-imposed quarantine lockdown thing?
Doing okay. Just going out for the essentials. Liquor, pizza.
Sure.
And that's, toilet paper. No, that's about it.
You know, I went to the grocery store on Friday and I scored a pack of toilet paper. I was pretty proud of myself.
Now, was it there on the shelf, or did you have to do some back alley deals?
It was there on the shelf. My grocery store over in Morris Plains, New Jersey. It was they're being pretty smart about it. They're limited to two a customer, so they're on top of it. They're well supplied.
Okay, they don't want
everything I needed.
All right, they don't want any of those people with the greedy hands who just take everything and just
it was a little tricky because when I was shopping, a couple times I was like, hey, I've touched this. I guess I have to buy it now. So.
Oh, you touched it, you bought it.
That wasn't store policy. That was just a rule I set for myself. But I feel like it's a good one.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. You don't want to, you don't want anybody to get your cooties or nothing like that.
Exactly. I don't want to spread my cooties around out there.
That's so. You're such a great guy.
I really am. I'm pretty awesome. But and speaking of awesome, we got an awesome movie that we're going to talk about this week.
Yeah, we do. Well, we figured because the newest James Bond movie is delayed, so
unfortunately delayed. Yes.
Yeah. So people need their spy fix.
Yes.
Times. They need their espionage and intrigue and whatnot.
Yes.
And what better way to do that than to talk about the 1997 hit movie Austin Powers' International Man of Mystery?
Ooh, yeah, baby.
Yeah, I know. We talked about it on the last episode, how some movies are just extremely quotable, like Anchorman was, and just quote it. I mean, this movie people were quoting it like bananas.
It was I don't think we really had internet memes in 1997, but this movie spawned a lot of memes. It spawned everybody and his brother imitating him, people dressing up as Austin Powers for Halloween. It's something else.
Just babies and behaves, just as far as I can see.
And
so this movie
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, this movie came out May 2nd, 1997. Budget of $16 million. It made $67 million, which is a huge hit, which I was actually kind of surprised about because from what I remember, I don't think this movie was a hit until it came out on video. I know once it came out on video, that's when everybody saw it. I mean, that's when I saw it. I didn't see this in the theaters.
I believe I did see it in the theaters. So I was an Austin Powers hipster, I guess. But we should say before we dive into the movie, this is a movie that our listeners helped us select. We put up a poll on the Twitter page, the @SNL Nerds Show Twitter page, and we put up 4 options. We asked them to vote on Office Space, Hot Rod, the Skeleton Twins, and Austin Powers. And Austin Powers won with 36.7% of the vote. We had a total of 30 people respond to the poll, so thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
But Austin Powers was the clear winner. It was running neck and neck with, was it Office Space for a while?
No, it's Hot Rod. Hot Rod. It was really close with Hot Rod and Austin Powers, which kind of surprised me because I thought Office Space would do way better, but not so much.
Yeah. We'll give it a little more. I think people will come around on Office Space. If we put up another poll and Office Space is in there, I think Office Space will do well. But thank you to everybody who responded to the poll. We appreciate that. We enjoyed doing that. And we've been looking forward to doing this movie. This is fun.
Yeah, this is going to be a hoot.
Mm-hmm. So, like you said, the movie was budgeted at $16.5 million, from what I understand. I read that. I found a cool oral history of the movie that was ran in the Hollywood Reporter in 2017 for the 20th anniversary. And yeah, I think it was a modest hit, but yeah, it really took off on home video. I think word of mouth was good. It was right at the dawn of the DVD market, and yeah.
Yeah. Like I remember watching this on like when it came out on VHS, like a
Mhm.
widescreen edition of VHS. That was like a big old deal. And then like I
Yeah.
just yeah, I mean I don't know why I didn't see it in the theaters. I just maybe the commercials may look too goofy or too weird, or I didn't even get it because like this was I mean this is one of Mike Myers' movies, and this was a character he never did on SNL. So there's like a
Yeah.
whole new character, a whole new thing, and I was like I don't know if I want to take a chance on it like that. And so
Aw,
I
you.
know, I know. I'm a bum. I'm a heel. But then I
Oh,
just watched the. Don't agree with me so quickly like that.
no,
Uh
you're a heel.
oh, okay. But yeah, then I watched it on video and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty hilarious, like what they're doing here.
Yeah, it works well on video. It's been a while since I'd rewatched this all the way through. It's up on Netflix streaming right now, so you can check it out. Go watch it before you listen to this podcast, so it's fresh in your mind. Uh, but it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed watching it. It's a pretty breezy movie. It's only like an hour and a half long, so
Really short. Really
yeah,
short.
really short. And I'm pretty impressed with the budget of 16.5 million, because this movie, like, they put every dollar up on screen. It is a pretty impressive looking movie for the money that they had to spend.
Yeah, it's very true. It's like I mean, you can see they cut some costs here and there where
Mhm.
like there's one scene when they're in Vegas and there's like they're clearly in front of a blue screen or a green screen
Yeah.
with like you know, stuff like that, but it looks cheesy enough that it kind of fits the mood of the movie.
And that's fun too, because they lean into the cheesiness whenever they have the limits. They lean into that, and it's this movie, because it's like a spy movie. It really it, it it's very reminiscent of those early James Bond movies, and those weren't real expensive movies either. I think the first James Bond movie had a budget of like $1 million, in
There it there it
1962.
is.
Um,
Uh,
so some of those early Bond movies are kind of cheap too, and they really do a nice job recreating the look of those. So
yeah, absolutely.
mhm.
Absolutely. All right, so yeah, let's dive in. Let's talk about this bad boy.
Let's go.
Um,
Let's go.
do you know how Mike Myers came up with this idea? Or was it just something he was just kicking around, or it was because it really came to come out of
Yeah,
nowhere?
yeah. Mike Myers, he talked about this a little in the Hollywood Reporter oral history. He talked about he was driving home from ice hockey practice, because Mike Myers, Canadian. Um,
Oh yeah.
so he was driving home from ice hockey practice, and the song "The Look of Love" by Burt Bacharach came on the radio, and he started thinking, well, where have all the swingers gone, the 60s swingers happening dudes? And that was just the birth of the character, and he had just started developing it. I know his wife, or his ex-wife now, talked about how she would hear him in the bathtub and saying things like, "Do I make you horny?" and all that, and she was just like, okay, well, someone new is being born now. So she was just very used to his ways at this point. She knew how he worked, so it just kind of developed gradually from there. And also was inspired by Mike Myers. His father had recently passed away, and his father had introduced him to a lot of British culture. Both of Mike Myers' parents were from the UK, but they moved to Canada, and
Right.
they'd introduce him to things like Peter Sellers and the Beatles and the Goon Show and the Bond movies. And so all this British culture just kind of was in Mike Myers' head and mashed up, and it eventually came out as Austin Powers. So this movie is really a tribute to Austin's to Mike Myers' dad, who had recently
Yeah.
passed away.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, I think that's something that I think we talked about it on the podcast before, where, yeah, like Mike Myers has always had this sort of love for British comedy, especially British comedy in a certain era.
Yeah.
And I mean, it definitely comes through in this movie, and like it's come through in other like things he's done in the past as well.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so the comedy in this movie, it is very specific. It's very specific on the stuff that Mike Myers likes and stuff that speaks to him, and you can really feel the love that he has for this material. You could not like you could not parody something this closely unless you knew it really, really well, unless you loved it. And it's pretty
Right.
obvious Mike Myers loves those early Bond movies.
Yeah, absolutely. And like and he also loves the sort of bawdy British comedies from the 60s. I mean, we'll talk about it later, but there's that one
Mhm.
scene where Elizabeth Hurley, who plays Mrs. Kensington,
Vanessa
Ms.
Kensington.
Vanessa Kensington, like she's like on the phone with her mom, and like you see a naked Austin in the background, and then they do that whole thing where it's like kind of suggestive things happening in the background while she's on the phone, and
Yeah.
it's kind of like like phallic references and what have you.
Yeah, I mean, very visual gag, so it's not, we're not going to bore you to explain it thoroughly, but yeah, that's a type of thing that I don't know. I've never seen any of the British Carry On films, but I imagine that's the type of thing that they did in those. But
Yeah, it kind of remind me of something like I'd see in Benny Hill or something like that. Because I used to be
mhm,
big on the Benny Hill when I was a kid, back when they had it on WOR Channel 9 here in the tri-state area.
mhm,
And like that would always remind me of something like that, where you see like, oh, a topless woman, standing behind two pairs of cassava melons, and you giggle
right.
and giggle because melons equal.
Exactly, exactly. But yeah, so this is a lot of fun movie. Movie is directed by Jay Roach. Jay Roach, I believe it's his first movie or one of his first movies. They were saying in the oral history he wasn't real experienced as a director, but Mike Myers sent the script to him because they were just buddies, and Jay Roach gave him like 10 pages of notes. So Jay Roach was really into the movie too. Um, so should we dive into our plot summary?
Let's do this.
Okay. Well, the movie opens in 1967, somewhere outside of Las Vegas, and we've got a gathering of bad guys, just like in the Bond movie Thunderball. They're all sitting at a table together, and we hear the voice of Dr. Evil from off screen. His face is hidden from us, just very much like what they did with Blofeld in the early James Bond movies. They didn't reveal Blofeld's face until like the fifth Bond movie, You Only Live Twice. So they're
Oh,
playing homage to that.
didn't even know that.
Yeah, yeah. I'll note the little James Bond references as we go. But he's got a bunch of bad guys at the table, and as his minions are failing him, he presses a button on his control and dumps them out of their chairs into a fire pit.
As you do.
As you do, and again, that's very much like what happens in the movie Thunderball. Although in there, I think the chairs are electrified, but so
Oh,
they're having fun with it. They're just putting a little twist on it, make it a little more absurd and over the top.
right.
But it gets off to a fun start. He's got this German henchwoman, Frau Farbissina, who's played by
Yes.
Mindy Sterling,
Yep.
who if I
Mindy
remember
Sterling.
correctly, she's a groundling, right?
Yes, yes, she is.
Yeah, and Mike Myers, I think maybe wrote this movie for her. I'll tell you, when I first saw this movie, I thought that it was Sherry O'Terry playing Frau Farbissina, and she was just in some makeup to make her look a little older. But
No, I could see her playing that part. Actually, I remember if you look at the trailer for Austin
mm,
Powers, I think Sherry O'Terry she was in the movie, but I think she got cut
yeah,
out because like
yeah, that sounds right.
yeah, because there's just like a scene where she is like an airline stewardess on Austin Powers plane, and
That's right. Yeah, she says we're called flight attendants now. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, so I thought that was Sherry O'Terry doubling up on the role, but I was very surprised when I found out. Oh no, it's a whole nother person. So
oh, and
retroactive apologies to Mindy Sterling. You were
yeah,
very funny in the movie.
Mindy Sterling, born in Patterson, New Jersey. Jersey Connection.
Ooh, Jersey Strong.
Mm-hmm.
That is cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
So, and we've got another SNL alum as another Dr. Evil henchman. We've got Will Ferrell as Mufasa.
Mustafa.
Mustafa, excuse me. Mufasa's the Lion King, right?
Yeah, that's a totally different thing.
Okay, so he is not playing a lion cub in this movie.
He is not, no.
Okay, he's playing like this vaguely Middle Eastern man, and he's got a fez, and they give him a little bit of eyeliner to make him look quote unquote foreign, as you did in the 60s.
Yeah, it gets close to being like, is this offensive? But
I mean, they don't put him in brown face, and they're obviously parodying the way movies used to do that sort of thing. So
yeah, that's true.
I think it's okay in that regard.
Yeah, it's not like Short Circuit.
Exactly. Yeah, they're poking fun at casting a white dude as Middle Eastern people. So that makes it okay.
Yay. Yay, loopholes.
But yeah, and we hear Dr. Evil. He's petting a cat just like Blofeld did in all the Bond movies, and he says, "I'm gonna kill Austin Powers." And we cut to swinging London, and we see Austin Powers dancing around to the song "Soul Bossa Nova" by Quincy Jones.
Great song.
Great song. I don't think I'd ever heard the song before this movie. Had you?
No. I mean, I know it was a bit of a hit back in the '60s, but yeah, like this movie, much like Bohemian Rhapsody, the way Mike Myers brought that back, he
Huh?
brought back Soul Bossa Nova. Because yeah, I don't think I remember hearing this song before this movie either.
That's really interesting. Yeah. So yeah, Mike Myers does revivals of the old songs. So that's really cool.
He brings back the oldies like Tarantino did with Travolta and the other people.
Yeah, exactly. But we see Austin Powers, who's a fashion photographer slash secret agent, but he is world famous in the world of Austin Powers because he's just that awesome.
Yeah, like the opening scene kind of reminded me of A Hard Day's Night. The way
Absolutely.
like all the women are chasing after him, like it's Austin Powers, and he's like doing all these cheeky things to escape them.
And they even pay homage to a couple of the gags in the opening of A Hard Day's Night, where Austin's like reading a magazine with his face on the cover, and we see him in a phone booth, and he's got a fake beard on. It's very much like what Paul McCartney was doing at the opening of Hard Day's Night, where he had a fake mustache and he's sitting with his grandfather.
Oh, it's my grandfather.
It's my grandfather. Oh, I've met my grandfather, and that's not him. Well, everybody's entitled to two, aren't they? And that's me.
Oh, nice.
Side note, I love A Hard Day's Night, and if I could find an excuse to talk about it on this podcast, I would.
We'll find a way, my friend. We'll find a way.
And, well, hey, Paul's been on SNL. George has been on SNL. Ringo's been on SNL.
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
What have you got?
We can do. Yeah, that's 3 hosts, right there. That's it.
Let's make it happen.
We're doing A Hard Day's Night.
Oh wow. We're just breaking all the rules.
But we have this nice dance sequence with Austin and everyone dancing around London, twisting and fruging and doing all those 60s dances.
Mashed potato,
and we meet Mimi Rogers as Mrs. Kensington, who's his spying partner. So very much like Mrs. Peel on the old Avengers show from the 1960s. Where we had Diana Rigg playing Emma Peel, and we see Austin. He gets into his Jaguar, a Jaguar that's painted with a British Union Jack, and there's intentionally bad rear projection behind the car as they're driving, which is just very funny.
The hoot.
They get a call from Basil Exposition from British intelligence. It was played by Michael York, the great Michael York, who who says Dr. Evil is setting a trap for Austin in the electric psychedelic Pussycat Swingers Club in swinging London.
Yeah, and of course, when somebody tells you they're setting a trap for you, you go straight to that trap.
That is spying 101. Exactly.
Let me walk right into this trap.
Yes, yeah. So, I mean, it would be rude not to go into the trap. Your bad guy, your arch nemesis has gone to all that trouble to set that trap for you. I mean, what are you going to do? Just not show?
Yeah. What are you, raising a barn?
Yeah.
Got no manners?
That's just manners. I mean, you go to the trap, you bring a nice bottle of wine, probably a white because it goes with everything.
Nice, yeah. A nice Zinfandel.
Exactly. Nice Zinfandel. But Austin and Mrs. Kensington, they go to the party, and he's, and it's a swing place. We got go-go dancers, and they're playing Incense Peppermints by the Strawberry Alarm Clock, and Austin goes, "It's my happening, and it freaks me out," which is a reference to, I think, Beyond the Valley of the Dolls, if I remember correctly.
Wow, I totally didn't catch that one. Dude, you're on fire this episode.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of references in this movie. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but I believe it is one of the Valley of the Dolls movies.
Okay. Well, I mean, do you also want to talk about this one cameo that we thought we saw that, or may or not be who we think is?
Yeah, like we both saw this. We both noticed this, and I actually tweeted about this on and I retweeted it from the SNL Nerds Twitter account. We see Andy Warhol, and the guy who plays Andy Warhol looks eerily like John Mulaney.
A lot like John Mulaney.
Like eerily. And our friends at the Decomposition Podcast, they pointed out, no, that can't be John Mulaney because John Mulaney was a teenager in 1997. He was, and I looked it up, he was literally 15 years old when this movie came out. So it means he probably would have been 14 when this was shot. So it can't be John Mulaney, but it looks eerily like John Mulaney.
So who the hell is that guy?
I don't know. I'm now working with the theory that John Mulaney is actually a time traveler. And that he invented time travel, or perhaps got into a Doc Brown DeLorean and traveled back in time to star in Austin Powers. Or perhaps even used the time travel device from the second Austin Powers movie to travel back in time and star in the first Austin Powers movie.
Okay. Or maybe he used the phone booth from Bill and Ted's, and then he got back in time to star in the Austin Powers movie too.
I mean, that's possible. I don't want to discount any possibilities, but I think John Mulaney has a famous routine about Back to the Future, so maybe he put that in there to throw people off the track that he is actually a time traveler.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
We're going back to the future, but it's set in the past. No, it's Back to the Future, but it's set in the past.
I am your destiny.
But anyway, Andy Warhol looks eerily like John Mulaney. And I would also like to note that Bill Hader has also played Andy Warhol in a movie. He was Andy Warhol in Men in Black 3.
Oh, wow. I didn't even see that one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 If you ever see Men in Black 3, Bill Hader as Andy Warhol. So check it out.
Far out.
But sadly, not John Mulaney. But it should be John Mulaney.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right. So as far as the movie goes, yeah, there's also one point where there's like a hostess at this party trying to, I think, seduce Austin Powers, but Austin punches her in the face, and everybody's like, "Why'd you punch that woman in the face?" It's like, that's no woman, that's a man. And
and I want to note that actress who played like the waitress, that is Patricia Tallman, who is probably best known for starring in the remake of Night of the Living Dead, and also she was a regular on the show Babylon 5, and she's also a stunt performer. So
Right.
that's why I'm sure that's why she was cast in the role, because she could take a fake punch and fall down.
Yeah, but still, it was shocking because like that's horrible to do to a woman, which is like, oh no,
Mhm.
don't do that, man. That's fucked up.
But it's a fun gag because as soon as it cuts away from her, we see this obvious man dressed up in the same cocktail dress that she was in, and
Yes.
everyone's
Yeah.
like startled. So it's making fun of like the cheesy kind of effects or doubles that they would have in movies of like the early 60s.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. But so then that happened, and then we see Dr. Evil tries to shoot at Austin Powers, but we still don't see his face. Then Austin and Kensington go chase after Dr. Evil. Dr. Evil runs into this egg-shaped uh, cryogenic freezing machine, and then he just sort of
Mhm.
takes off into outer space where he freezes himself, and he's just sort of circling, you know, outer space in a Bob's Big Boy shaped spaceship.
Yes, yes.
And I
Um,
know this all sounds like a fever dream I had, but I swear it's true.
yes, this is actually what happens in the movie, and we are less than 10 minutes into the movie. um,
Yeah.
so the Bob's Big Boy uh, statue, or whatever you call it, it's
Mascot?
floating, it's orbiting around the Earth, and Dr. Evil and his cat, Mr. Bigglesworth, are both frozen in cryogenically frozen. And then we cut to 1997, 30 years later, and
Mhm.
radar picks up the Bob's Big Boy statue. And we got the two of our great character actors, Clint Howard and Charles Napier, picking it up.
Yeah.
Always fun to see them.
Exactly. So they say, "Oh wow, it's Doctor Evil. He's returned. We need to get our top spy. We need to get Austin Powers, who, as we learn, he also froze himself. Just in case when Doctor Evil would return to Earth.
Right, right. And we see them going into the place where they have the cryogenically frozen people. And they pass by Gary Coleman and Vanilla Ice, who are just, they're both waiting for their time to come.
Yeah, that was like wow. That is a dated reference.
Well, yeah, that so they dethaw Austin Powers. He comes out, and we have Austin. He's basically just he's naked out of the cryogenic chamber, and and we got a naked Mike Myers, and he's got
Yeah,
this fake chest hair thing to make him look like Sean Connery.
is that what that was supposed to be? It was just an oddly shaped chest hair. I noticed. It was like what is that? It's kind of like Mickey Mouse ears, but not quite.
Sean Connery, in the early Bond movies, whenever he has his shirt off, he was a very hairy man. This was
Uh,
an age before manscaping, so
it
you
was
just
all him.
all natural, baby.
Oof. And yeah, I mean this whole plot, the whole freezing unfreezing, it reminded me of the movie The Demolition Man too. I think they were paying homage to that movie as well because that movie came out like 4 years before this.
Yeah, I was trying to remember if Demolition Man was before or after this movie, and it doesn't surprise me too much to find out that it was after. And I don't think I've ever seen Demolition Man all the way through, but I remember when my roommate in college, Scott. Hey, Scott. He's a listener of the podcast. Um,
That
we when he had his bachelor party, he lives up in Minnesota, and we went to the Planet Hollywood at the Mall of America in Minnesota, and hanging over our table was a prop that they used in that movie. It's this giant naked Sylvester Stallone that was defrosted from the movie Demolition Man. So
oh
that was Scott's bachelor party. We're eating burgers and fries and having tall jugs of beer underneath a gigantic fake naked Sylvester Stallone.
um I I'm speechless. I don't know what to say about that.
But it obviously was a good omen because Scott is still married to his lovely wife Lori, and they've got 3 kids. So
So the key to a good marriage is to eat underneath a name. Okay.
yeah. Eating underneath a giant naked Sylvester Stallone. I mean, really, that's the only possible reason.
All right. Well. All right. Well, there you go, people. It's a nice little that's a little helpful hint here we offer at the SNL Nerds.
And it struck me when we're seeing Austin thawed out. We've seen quite a few male SNL cast members stripped down for comedic purposes in the movies we've watched for this podcast. We've seen Tim Meadows and The Ladies' Man. We've seen naked Will Ferrell just a little while ago, and now we're seeing a naked Mike Myers.
I mean, naked is funny, especially with dudes. It's hoot.
Naked dudes are generally very funny.
Oh, Will Forte and MacGruber.
Oh yeah, hey, how could I forget Will Forte? Yeah,
I mean the celery scene. Good God.
Yeah. So,
do you need a minute?
I might need a minute. I'd forgotten about that and I blocked out those memories, but
I'm so sorry.
Anyway, Austin is de-thawed. He finds out that the Cold War is over. There's a very funny gag where he's like, "Hey, congratulations, comrades! We showed those capitalist bastards what for." And then they have to point out, "No, we actually won the Cold War. It's the Russians who lost."
And they're like, And so after he's getting briefed up of what's happened in the past 30 years, they introduce him to Ms. Kensington, Mrs. Kensington's daughter, who's played by Elizabeth Hurley, who oh my.
Yeah, very, very striking woman. She, of course, started as a model, but sort of segued into the acting. She's great in this movie. I really liked her.
Yeah, no, she's good.
Yeah, I mean, for most of the movie, she has to play the straight man to Mike Myers, but she also has some funny and charming movies in her own right, and I think this is probably one of her trademark movies, I would say.
Yeah, she was good. I liked her in remember that movie Bedazzled or Bedeviled or something like that?
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Bedazzled, underrated comedy.
Yeah, it was actually. I remember watching it one day. I was just bored at home, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually pretty funny." It shocked me.
Her and Brendan Fraser. She actually plays the devil, and if you enjoy looking at Elizabeth Hurley, she will be in most any sort of fetish outfit that you would care to name over the course of that movie.
Yeah, so I mean, during this outbreak, I mean, dude, this is your time. Go for it and watch that movie.
Have yourself a little Elizabeth Hurley movie marathon, and you will enjoy. Yeah, Bedazzled, underrated movie, directed by the great Harold Ramis.
Yes, R.I.P.
So and Austin, he's told that the world is a different place since the 1960s, and he says, "Well, don't worry. As long as people are having promiscuous sex with many anonymous partners without protection, while at the same time experimenting with mind-expanding drugs in a consequence-free environment, I'll be sound as a pound."
I do like that, the way that Mike Myers kind of, I don't want to say takes the piss out of, but like the way he kind of mocks the 60s a little bit.
Yeah, and that I mean that's a beautifully written little speech there, and it sets up a lot of the humor of this movie is contrasting the free love 1960s with the more uptight, politically correct 1990s. So that's fun. Where over the course of the movie, Austin finds out that his way of doing things is rather outdated.
Yes, absolutely. So then he goes to collect his effects, and then we get this whole scene where he's kind of giving his stuff back, a la the opening of the Blues Brothers, where our man just gives him his effects, like his Italian leather shoes and his medallion with the male symbol on it, and there's this penis pump that he gets too.
Swedish penis pump.
Swedish, yes, and he assumes, and he's saying, "Oh, it's not mine. It's not mine. I don't know how that got in there." It's like, "Oh, here's the receipt with your name on it." "Oh, I don't know. Someone's playing a prank on me. That's not mine. That's not my baby." Because Miss Kensington is right there. And she's like, "Oh, here's the warranty for your penis pump that you filled out. It's not mine, baby. It's not mine." And then that type of thing's not my bag, baby. And then he says, "One book written by Mr. Austin Powers, Swedish penis pump. This sort of thing is my bag, baby."
Yeah, and Austin is literally on the cover holding the Swedish penis pump.
Yeah.
Very, very funny sequence. Builds really nicely. The guy playing the clerk returning Austin's items to him is played by Mike Myers' old comedy partner, Neil Malarkey. They were a comedy team by the name of Myers and Malarkey, or Malarkey and Myers, I forget which. But that's pretty cool. It's Mike Myers throwing his old friend a bit part there.
And dude, Malarkey, that's an awesome last name.
Great name for comedy too.
Like, dude, I'm jealous. I wish my last name was Malarkey.
I'll start calling you Darren Malarkey. That's fine.
Oh, thank you.
Everyone,
and there's also, well,
I was just going to say everyone would think that you're a Joe Biden supporter, but I don't know if that was a funny enough gag for us to stop. But
okay, no, I see what you did there. I respect it. And then something else that they do throughout the movie is they have these interstitials that come in throughout the movie that kind of reminds me of like I guess like an episode of Laugh-In or maybe some 60s sitcom where it's just like Austin Powers with this 60s, psychedelic band, and it's like, it's like them goofing around and then they cut to another scene.
Yeah, that's actually a band that they formed for the movie called Ming T, and two of the other members of that band are Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles.
Oh,
and Matthew Sweet.
What?
Yeah. So,
Girlfriend?
Exactly. Yes, Girlfriend. Classic rock album. If you've never heard Matthew Sweet album Girlfriend, do yourself a favor. Just go download that on iTunes and have yourself a listen. But Susanna Hoffs from the Bangles actually married to the director of this movie, Jay Roach.
Oh, that I knew. I think Jay Roach mentioned it because he was on Mark Maron's podcast. I think I knew that.
And Mike Myers, or excuse me, Mike. I keep saying Mike Myers. Matthew Sweet and Susanna Hoffs ended up doing a lot of musical collaborations after this movie, going forward from this movie. They've done 3 albums of cover songs under the names Sid and Susie. They're called Under the Covers, where the first one they cover songs in the 60s, second one they cover songs in the 70s, and the third one they cover songs in the 80s, and all of them are great.
Oh, I'll check it out. Sid and the, what's it called?
Under the Covers.
Under the Covers. All right, I'll check it out.
There's volumes 1, 2, and 3. So download those after you download the Austin Powers soundtrack and Matthew Sweet's Girlfriend.
Right. But
so
that's
like a half dozen albums I just recommended to you people. You're welcome.
Hey, you're welcome, America. We're doing our part.
And so then we cut back to Dr. Evil's lair, and we find out what's going on with him. And Dr. Evil, he meets... it turns out that after a few years of waiting for Dr. Evil to come back, his henchmen got a little impatient, and so they decided to try and clone Dr. Evil. And the results of that were he has a son named Scott Evil, played by Seth Green.
Yes. He has a son now, and it's weird because like you would think when you hear he has a son, he would look like Dr. Evil, but he looks nothing. He looks like Seth Green in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Just like comes in dressed up all 90s up, and is like,
he's wearing a Kurt Cobain T-shirt,
as we all did in the 90s.
Exactly. Do you know who this part was originally written for, Darren?
I do not.
It was originally, this is going to surprise you. It was originally written for Colin Quinn.
Huh.
Because if you think about it, yeah.
Colin, what?
Just try to imagine Colin Quinn playing Scott Evil. But I mean, if you do the math, Scott Evil should be like about 30 or about 28 himself. So at the time, Colin Quinn was closer to the right age than Seth Green was.
I guess so. Wow, I didn't even think about that.
But Colin Quinn turned down the part of Scott Evil, and so they ended up going with Scott Green or Seth Green.
I mean, those are two totally different people. Why wouldn't if you wanted to have Colin Quinn but couldn't get Colin Quinn? Why don't you get? I'm surprised they didn't go for like a more Colin Quinn type. They just went totally in the other direction. But like, oh, we
Yeah,
can't get
yeah.
Colin Quinn. Let's get Seth
I
Green.
guess they just decided to go younger with it. I don't know, but I find that hilarious that originally Colin Quinn was supposed to be Scott Evil.
That is bonkers.
That is bonkers,
Oh,
right?
yeah, yeah. So, I mean, also in the movie, we also Doctor Evil introduces his henchmen, including Frau Forbissina, played by Mindy Sterling, who founded the militant wing of the Salvation Army. He
Mhm.
has another henchman, Random Task, who like throws his shoe at people. That's his big
Yeah,
master move.
yeah. Who Random Task is, of course, it's like a dead-on parody of Odd Job from the James Bond movie Goldfinger, who had a razor-brimmed hat that he would throw, and it could like take the head off a statue. But Random Task instead just throws a shoe.
Who throws his shoe? Honestly.
Honestly.
We also have his Paddy O'Brien, who is the
Mhm.
Irish kind of tough guy, and he always leaves like a little charm at the end of his kills, and then he says something like, "Oh yeah, Scotland Yard, yeah, the cops are always after me, Lucky Charms," and everyone giggles.
Yeah, yeah. And then Frau Forbissina has a little bit where she explains the whole Lucky Charms mascot thing to him, and that's an improv by Mindy Sterling. So tip of the hat
Oh,
to
yeah.
Mindy Sterling there. Very funny moment.
Yeah, and then we learn about Doctor Evil's number two man, who's called Number Two, who handled VirtueCon, which is the business front that they use to sort of look to be like the cover of all their evil doings. And Number Two is played by the great Robert Wagner.
Great Robert Wagner. I mean, he's had one of the all-time great Hollywood careers. He just goes back forever. I remember seeing him as a kid on Heart to Heart. That was where I first saw him. That was like a detective show with some
Oh yeah,
married detectives. But yeah, Robert Wagner, very funny in this movie. Very, very suave, very handsome Robert Wagner.
right. Yeah, and he's good. You could tell he's like the more capable type of henchman, but he's like number two to Doctor Evil, who's a bit of a dimwit.
Yeah, yeah, and even more so because Doctor Evil is very out of date in his cultural references. He wants to hold the world for ransom for $1 million, which he thinks is this outrageous sum of money. But then number two has to patiently explain to him, well, because of inflation and all that, $1 million isn't all that much money anymore.
Yeah, like VirtueCon alone makes a couple billion, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Oh, billion, that's a lot of money."
yeah. So Doctor Evil, he revises his plans and he's like, well, we'll hold the world ransom for $1 billion.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
and
Did we mention that Mike Myers plays Doctor Evil too? I
I did
mean,
not. And we should probably also mention one of the partial inspirations for Dr. Evil.
let's go into it.
Yeah, is Mike Myers is basically doing an impression of Lorne Michaels throughout this movie as Dr. Evil.
Yeah, that's what. So Mike has come out and said, "Oh yeah, this is just Warren."
Oh, I mean, it's not 100% Lorne. It is Lorne's mannerisms and his voice. But the look of Dr. Evil is very much Donald Pleasance in the James Bond movie You Only Live Twice. With he's got the Nehru jacket, he's got the bald head, he's got the cat, he's got the scar. So it is very much Donald Pleasance in certain mannerisms. But when Dr. Evil is like complaining about how he's not getting the thing he wanted, that's Lorne Michaels.
Oh, I'm the boss. I need the info.
Exactly. Right.
Right. Yeah, when
And
he went right, like
yeah,
that's pure Lorne.
that is pure Lorne. And apparently, like lots of people who've been on SNL have done Lorne impressions, but Mike Myers is the first guy who ended up putting a Lorne impression on screen. And apparently Lorne did do the little pinky to the mouth thing in real life, but he has apparently since stopped doing it, probably because of Dr. Evil.
Oh, it's like, oh damn it, I can't do that no more.
As I mean, if you're if you inspire a character who's called Dr. Evil, you probably don't want to invite that comparison too much.
Yeah, you don't want life imitating art or vice versa.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm gonna say this off the top of the head, like Doctor Evil, I find him a lot more interesting and funnier than Austin Powers. Like I remember feeling that way when I first saw it at home. I was
Mhm.
like, oh, this Doctor Evil guy is really hilarious.
I feel like a lot of people do like Dr. Evil better than Austin Powers. Yeah. I think you can really sympathize with Dr. Evil at times, but yeah, but it's a very funny comic creation. And the fun thing is, like, the two characters, they aren't really like each other at all. I mean, they are completely different, and it just shows you what a talented actor Mike Myers is.
No, absolutely.
But
Yeah, he's
anyway,
good.
we cut back to Austin Powers, he's on his like jumbo jet, and he starts, of course, sexually harassing Vanessa Kensington, who's not really
Yeah.
having any of it. She's just not interested in any of his advances. Finds them all. What was
Right.
like suave and cool in the '60s is now just kind of sad and creepy in the '90s.
Yeah, it's very Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it. So they go to Las Vegas to track down Dr. Evil's plan, to try and figure that out. And
Right.
they go to a casino in Vegas. They go to a blackjack table. The dealer is played by Larry Thomas, who is the soup Nazi on Seinfeld.
Oh, I didn't even realize that, dude. You are
Yeah.
killing it. You are killing it
Apparently,
today.
they gave him this part because they liked him so much as the soup Nazi on Seinfeld.
Huh? How
Oh,
about that?
that was pretty fun. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. You were just very quiet, so I didn't know if we'd lost you or not.
No, I was just soaking in the knowledge, man.
And let's see. We also have we meet Austin meets number 2, Robert Wagner, there, and the woman on number 2's arm is Alana Pachina, played by Fabinia Udenio, who I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is just this staggeringly beautiful woman, and then Austin develops this plan to seduce her.
Yes. Well, actually, no. I think. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think at first, he's. When you hear the name, a lot of her name, you think, oh, that's supposed to be like Pussy Galore. I knew
Yeah.
that much. But then I think Austin follows number 2 into the men's room because he wants to find out what the Dr. Evil is up to, and then I think he follows him into a bathroom stall, and then we also see another casino goer going in. This loud, brash man in a cowboy hat. Of course, it's Tom Arnold.
Played by Tom Arnold, another little unexpected cameo in the movie. And the gag there is, like, as Austin steps into his stall, a vent opens up behind him, and then the Paddy O'Brien, the Irish assassin from earlier in the movie, he tries to strangle Austin with his charm bracelet, using it as like a garrote. And so in the next stall over, Tom Arnold is just hearing Austin being strangled, just going, and he thinks he's doing what you typically do in a bathroom.
Yeah, he says like, "Oh, hey, you can't force him, man. You're gonna blow out your whole ring."
And it's I go back and forth on this scene because I do kind of like how Tom Arnold plays it at certain moments. I love it. He's like, "All right, calm down. We're gonna get through this," and I love. I love that moment just because it's like it's a hostage negotiation, and he's trying to talk him through this. I love that Tom Arnold's character is so sympathetic to this complete stranger having problems in the next stall.
He's being supportive. He's probably been there before.
Yeah. But at the same time, it does get a little gross with some of the sound effects, because like Austin's dumping the Paddy O'Brien's head into the toilet, and you hear a lot of gurgling.
Yeah, and he's screaming, "Who does number 2 work for? Who does number 2 work for?"
Yeah.
And then Tom's like, "Yeah, you show that turtle who's boss."
Yeah. So I mean, I kind of love and hate this scene in equal measure.
Yeah, no, it's kind of gross out, but it's not. I mean, it's not super gross out. You don't see anything too gross.
No. I think it would be more repulsive than funny if like he was, if you like saw any fecal matter or anything like that. But
But
yeah,
it's just gross. Yeah.
I think it's the sound effects. I think it's the sound effects that get me.
No, you're fair enough. That's a fair enough.
Yeah. I'm not a
Fair
big one for the gross out humor in general. So, but
no,
thankfully it's a quick scene.
you're a classy guy.
I am. I am classy. Mahogany, leather bound books, all that stuff. So anyway, Austin, after he defeats the henchman, he goes up to a lot of vagina's penthouse, and seduces her. They get into a hot tub together, and as she's seducing him, she discovers that he is not his ironclad alias Opie Cunningham, but he is actually Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, because she finds a business card reading Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, in his wallet.
Ah, is that something that Sean Connery did in the James Bond movies?
Oh, I mean, I think this is just kind of playing on in a lot of the Bond movies. We have like James Bond, who's like this secret agent, but yet somehow in some of the movies he's also world famous and known. Like there's in Diamonds Are Forever, there's a bit where Bond kills a henchman and he switches wallets with the guy. So the woman, she looks at his ID and she goes, "Oh, you just killed James Bond." And it's like, well, how do you know who James Bond is? He's a secret agent. Nobody's supposed to know who he is.
Yeah, secret. Secret.
So this movie's just having fun with that.
Right. So then he gets into the hot tub with her, and he has some sake, and he gets all relaxed, and he accidentally breaks wind in front of her. He's like, "Oh, how dare you break wind before me?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, baby. I didn't know it was your turn."
Yep.
He's smooth.
And yeah, very funny scene. And
Yeah. And then of course,
go ahead.
They have intimacy or intimate time.
Yes. He shags her.
Yeah. There you go.
He shags her rotten.
I remember laughing at that term, like when I first saw it. I was like, I've never heard that before, but I was like, that's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, shag is a British slang word. It's not really used. I don't think it was really known in the U.S. before this movie. I mean, that popularized it. But I mean, to us, it's a very silly sounding word. But in Britain, I believe it is, or at least was, considered a profanity.
Yeah, no. Like if you go to Britain, it's like using the F word.
Yeah. So it's very funny. Like all through the movie, Austin saying like, "Oh well, shall we shag now or shall we shag later?" But it's a silly sounding word.
It's a goofy word, but it's definitely it's a funny term. We should also mention before this that Austin and Vanessa were like checking out the casino, trying to find out more about Doctor Evil's plans, and somehow that ends up with them going out on a date, like a night on the town, and they're on this top of this double-decker bus, having drinks and getting to know each other, and then they have like a cameo by the great Burt Bacharach playing piano on top of a bus.
I didn't mean to skip over Burt Bacharach, and also like Vanessa, she's starting to like Austin at this point. She starts falling to his charms somehow. The movie kind of glosses over this.
Yeah, it kind of does.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically like, well, Vanessa starts liking Austin because the script says she has to at this point. We never really quite see why she starts liking him, but she just does.
Yes. Insert attraction here.
Yeah, exactly. There's so many movies where like, comedians are with the these women who in real life are just so out of their league.
Dude, forget
It's
about
kind
it.
of funny. You know, it adds up after a while. I mean, like just last week we had Will Ferrell and Christina Applegate. A few weeks ago we had Chris Rock and Rosario Dawson. And in this movie, Mike Myers and Elizabeth Hurley. It's
a proud tradition.
It's something else. And you know what? If I was writing myself a comedy movie, I would do the exact same thing.
Right. Cecily Strong's agent would be getting a call.
Yes. But so anyway, but while this is all going on with Austin, we cut back to Dr. Evil. We discover he's got a group of evil robots called the Fembots, who are all these startlingly beautiful blonde women who have like gun barrels that come out where their nipples would be, and they can, so it's going to lure Austin into like a thirst trap, basically.
Yeah, like sirens in Greek mythology.
And exactly, yeah. And I understand one of the Fembots was played by Cindy Margolis. Do you remember Cindy Margolis?
That name sounds familiar. Yeah.
In the early days of the internet, she made a name of herself because she was a model, and she became like the most downloaded woman on the internet in like the early days of the internet in the early to mid 90s. And yeah, so she became famous for that, and she's one of the Fembots. The Fembots don't really talk much, so I couldn't even tell you which Fembot she was, but I just thought that was worth noting.
Oh, okay. That's pretty cool.
We also see Dr. Evil and his son Scott. They go to an encounter group to try and work out their fractured relationship.
Yes, the group therapy.
Yeah. And who do we have playing the group therapy leader? But Carrie Fisher.
Yes, of course. Who else?
Who else? I mean, if anybody knows dysfunctional parent-child relationships, it's Carrie Fisher.
Yeah, and then I mean, I thought this was like one of the funniest scenes in the movie, where it's basically like them it's Dr. Evil and Scotty trying to connect, and Scotty's telling the counselor, saying, yeah, like sometimes I get a feeling like he's trying to kill me or something, and everybody laughs like, oh, he's not trying to kill you, but then Dr. Evil's like, oh yeah, no, the boy's quite astute. I am actually trying to.
Yeah, but he's quite wily, like his old man.
Yeah.
And at one point in this movie, Dr. Evil, he gives his biography, his whole backstory, and he's like, "Oh, my father was this, and my mother was a French prostitute, and blah, blah, blah." And there's all this weird, bizarre detail in it, and it is. If you've ever read any of the James Bond books, this is like a pitch perfect parody of the sort of biographies that Ian Fleming would give to all of his bad guys.
Is that what that's parodying?
Yeah, it is very, very Ian Fleming-esque, but it's just, of course, heightened to the point of absurdity.
Okay. Well, actually, I have it right now. Like, I don't know, this whole monologue he gave I found it fantastic.
If you want to read that monologue, I would not object to it. I'm going to get up for a second and get some water, but if you have that monologue, you go for it and you read it.
Okay, so then when they asked Dr. Evil to talk about his father and his background, he says, the details of my life are quite inconsequential. Very well, where do I begin? My father was a relentlessly self-improving billionaire owner from Belgium with low-grade narcolepsy and a penchant for buggery. My mother was a 15-year-old French prostitute named Chloe with webbed feet. My father would womanize, he would drink, he would make outrageous claims like he invented the question mark. Sometimes he would accuse chestnuts of being lazy. The sort of general malaise that only the genius possess and the insane lament. My childhood was typical. Summers in Rangoon, luge lessons. In the spring, we'd make meat helmets. When I was insolent, I was placed in a burlap bag and beaten with reeds. Pretty standard, really. At the age of 12, I received my first scribe. At the age of 14, a Zoroastrian named Vilma ritualistically shaved my testicles. There's really nothing like a shorn scrotum. It's breathtaking. I highly suggest you.
Oh, bravo,
I
sir.
I remember watching this. I was like, "What is going on?" It's like it was so insane, but it held my attention. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't even. I don't even know where to start with this.
I mean, that whole speech is just brilliantly written. It's just filled with all that wonderfully bizarre detail. Um, I remember seeing an interview with Mike Myers years ago where he talked about the line about he invented the question mark. That comes from Charlemagne. Charlemagne apparently in real life invented the question mark, and that little bit of trivia just lodged itself in Mike Myers's brain.
Really?
But it's such an absurd sounding detail because you think of the question mark as a thing that's been around for forever.
Yeah, somebody had to invent it. All right. What is a meat helmet? I still don't know what that is.
I mean, I think just the phrase "meat helmet" is funny. You know?
Good name for a band.
Yeah. Meat helmet. I would go see that band.
Oh, the
Absolutely.
meat helmets are opening downtown at the Palladium.
Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. We'll go. Darren can be mistaken for a security guard.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
little
oh,
shout
they're
out to
opening
your
for.
stand-up routine.
Oh, nice. They're opening up for Ming T.
Mm-hmm. But
Okay.
also I just want to say before we move on to the next scene, Mike Myers' delivery in this is also brilliant because he just delivers it in this flat monotone almost, and it's like the sort of delivery that you get from all the Bond villains in the Bond movies. It all kind of comes from Joseph Wiseman, who played Doctor No, who is just very restrained and yes, na 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 na. My father invented the question mark, and just just very very funny. I'm so glad you had that bio ready to read because
I,
I was
I,
like, oh, I should read that, but I didn't get to it, so I'm really glad you got
I,
that.
I need it. He accused Chestnuts of being lazy. What does that even mean?
Yeah, I mean that is great, and it's so wonderfully specific because like that line wouldn't be as funny if it was like something besides a chestnut. Like a walnut wouldn't be as funny, but
Yeah, Chestnuts is funnier.
that's is funnier. So
Oh,
yeah, if
yeah,
you're writing
wow.
comedy, get specific, man, because the details, the specific details, is where it's at.
Specific equals funny.
Yep. So cutting back to Austin and Vanessa, Vanessa finds out that Austin actually had sex with a lot of vagina, and she's very
Yes.
offended by this because, both because she started to like Austin and she's horrified to find out that he didn't practice safe sex.
Oh, only sailors do that.
Yeah, only sailors use condoms. And she's like, no, Austin. And he's like, oh, well, they should, those filthy buggers. They go from port to port. So just
Oh,
comically missing the point. Um,
yeah. Oh, and there's also a scene where Basil Expedition meets up with Vanessa and Austin, and Basil introduces Austin to his mother, and then there's a bit of a misunderstanding.
yeah, Austin punches out Basil's mother because he thinks that she's also a man because she's so ugly. I was skipping over that scene because it's kind of inconsequential from the plot standpoint, but it's very funny.
Uh,
So
yeah. I hear what you're saying, but yeah, but so then yeah, that's it's a big scene, but I hear what you're saying. So then after that, Austin kind of takes some time away from Vanessa because she's upset, and he's just trying to sort of maybe get used to this whole new world he's in. Like even
mm,
though he's stuck in the '60s and the '90s are a whole new thing. Like at one point he tries to play a CD on a turntable, and that
yeah.
doesn't go quite well.
And we get a montage of Austin just kind of catching up on the 30 years of history that he missed. We see him like watching the moon landing, and at one point he's making a list of people he knew in the 60s, like Jimi Hendrix or Janis
Uh,
Joplin or Mama Cass, and they're all dead under unfortunate circumstances. So Austin starts to slowly realize that maybe the way he behaved in the 60s isn't quite working for the world of 1997.
Absolutely.
And he can't believe that Liberace was gay.
Who saw that coming?
He had so many women who are after him. It's
Yeah,
startling. I still haven't quite processed that.
I'm gobsmacked. as
Yeah.
they say.
Yes. I've been smacked by a gob.
Oh, you.
Yeah, it doesn't sound as good when you put it that way, right?
It does not. No.
So anyway, Austin and Vanessa then they infiltrate the Dr. Evil's headquarters. They go undercover as tourists in these comically bad disguises, and then they do the thing that you always do in spy movies: is they overpower two henchmen and then they put on their outfits. And the gag here is that from the two henchmen that we see, there's like this comically overweight woman and this really tall man, and they go into the bathrooms, follow them into the bathrooms, and then Austin and Vanessa come out wearing their lab coats, and they both fit perfectly. They are like tailored to them.
Yeah, it's a nice little gag if you catch it.
Yeah, because if you've seen any kind of spy movie or thing, that's a thing that happens so much. Is that you take out somebody and you put on their outfit, and it always fits you. I mean, the only other movie I can remember having fun with this was the first Indiana Jones movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, where Indy puts on a jacket from a Nazi he overpowers, and it doesn't fit him.
Oh yeah, that's right. See,
wait, actually, I take that back. Die Hard had fun with it too, because John McClane gets some shoes from a bad guy, and they don't fit him. So Raiders,
right, like
Die Hard and Austin Powers.
Absolutely.
If somebody asks you what those three films have in common, that's the answer. That's the answer for your next trivia night.
Right, you'll be the hit of the party.
You will.
Yeah. So then they make their. I think at this point, the people are starting to realize who they are, and so they try to make an escape, and then they get on a steamroller that happens to be there, and then they like. There's one person in the way, but he's miles kind of far away from them, and he's like shouting "stop!" But then they slowly go towards him.
Yeah, that's a funny gag, and they're like, if I know in the deleted scenes, there are a few deleted scenes where there are things like the henchman was about to retire, and there was a retirement party for him, and Rob Lowe was in that scene. They were like meeting up at an Applebee's. And they also had a deleted scene where his like wife gets the call that the henchman died trying to stop the super spy.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that.
But I think it's one of those deleted scenes where it's a funny scene in and of itself, but it probably slowed down the movie too much at this point because the it's barreling towards a climax.
Absolutely.
So Austin and Vanessa are captured by Dr. Evil. They're put into quasi-futuristic clothing.
Yes.
As you do, because if you're a bad guy and you capture the spy who's after you, you want to be a good host and give them a nice change of clothes.
Yeah, slip into something more comfortable.
Mm-hmm. I mean, again, something the Bond movies do all the time. And we find out that Dr. Evil's plan is he's using this Vulcan drill to drill to the center of the Earth, and then he's going to use this nuclear weapon that he's stolen. He's going to set it off there, and that's going to cause every volcano on Earth to erupt all at once.
Solid plan.
And because Dr. Evil is a good bad guy and a polite bad guy, he explains the plan to Austin.
Of course.
And so Dr. Evil puts Austin and Vanessa into a chamber with a very slow-moving death trap. He wanted to have sharks with laser beams, but apparently his henchmen weren't able to make that happen. So he has to make do with what he has.
Yeah, they have mutated sea bass.
Yeah, and that is just as good as sharks with laser beams on their heads.
Right, and also in the scene, Dr. Evil's son Scott was there, and Scott was saying, "Well, why don't you just take a gun and shoot him? Why are you doing all this? Just kill him."
Yeah, and that's a very funny runner throughout the movie. But just to back up to the sharks for a minute, apparently Mike Myers and Jay Roach, they actually wanted sharks in the movie, but they, on their $16.5 million budget, they did not have the money for that, and they asked the prop people. They were like, "Okay, well, what can we do?" And they were like, "We can make the water bubble a bit." So, so that's why the death trap is horribly downgraded. So,
gotcha.
So sometimes it pays not to have the money to do everything you want.
It's like, what can we do? We can turn this into a hot tub, and
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah,
end. That's all we can do.
exactly. Exactly. Um, so there's a very funny scene between Dr. Evil and Scott Evil where Scott is just like, no, really, we could just kill him.
Yeah. And then as Dr. Evil says, like, no, I'm just gonna put them in here and close the doors, walk away, and assume everything went to plan. What's the problem?
Yeah, yeah. And it gets to the point where Scott is just like, no, really, we can just kill him. We can just, and then Dr. Evil is just shushing him. He's just shh, shh, shh. And that arose out of an improv between Mike Myers and Seth Green. Jay Roach talks about this in the Hollywood Reporter oral history. They did that when they were shooting Seth Green's coverage. So it was Seth was the only one on camera, and then Mike Myers started doing the shush thing, and Jay Roach was like, "Oh, I now have to go back and shoot Mike's side of this again because this is so funny. I can't let this go." They'd already shot Mike Myers, and so they lost half a day on the movie. They went in schedule on it, but it was so funny. He was like, "I have to include this." So definitely worth it considering how popular of an exchange that is.
Yeah, I remember that being a huge scene. Like people were like loving that part. I did too. It was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, yeah. So Austin and Vanessa they escape from the death trap, and then they're trying to get out of the headquarters so that they can go get backup.
Right.
Austin sends Vanessa to go get like the British troops, but before he lets Vanessa go, he's like, wait a minute, Vanessa. If anything happens, I just want to let you know. If you want me to be a one-woman man, I'm okay with that. I will be a one-woman man for you because by this point, Austin is in love with Vanessa.
Aww.
No, it's touching, right?
Guy's in love with you. Da, 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 da.
So in the meantime, Dr. Evil's evil plan is coming to fruition, and Dr. Evil is in a plastic transparent radiation suit that I swear to God looks exactly like a radiation suit that Joseph Wiseman wears in the very first James Bond movie, Dr. No.
Oh, I was thinking it looks like that suit from 12 Monkeys a little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, they're both see-through things, but no, that is definitely a shout out or a parody of Dr. No, because what was like cool and futuristic and cutting edge in 1962, it looked kind of goofy by 1997. So they're just having some fun with that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we have some nice physical humor where like Mike Myers finds he can't really sit down in the suit because it's just too slick. He keeps sliding off his chair.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty hilarious. So then the two of them split up. Vanessa gets the troops, and Austin's trying to find Dr. Evil to stop his plan, and then he runs into the fembots who seduce. He comes to their feminine robotic wiles.
Yeah. I mean, how is our hero going to get out of this one? Well,
he uses his mojo, of course.
He uses his mojo. He short circuits them with his sexiness. So we've got Austin dancing around to the Divinal song "I Touch Myself," and he strips down to a Union Jack Speedo.
Yeah, and like the fembots can't help themselves. They start to short circuit and go haywire, and just start their heads explode because he's just too much man for any robot.
Much and of course Vanessa passes by right as Austin is doing this, and Vanessa's changed into a striking leather jumpsuit, very very Emma Peel, very very Black Widow, even though Black Widow wasn't popularly known when this movie was made. But yeah, she's very much in the look of Emma Peel by this, and she sees Austin and she's like, "Austin, what are you doing?" And we have Austin awkwardly explaining to Vanessa, and he's like, "No, this looks bad, but no, it was a cross mogination. It was," and but thankfully Vanessa believes Austin.
Yes. So love springs eternal.
love springs eternal. And so they, they and all the troops with, it ends like a James Bond movie. Everybody's raiding the bad guy's lair. There's machine gun fire going off, explosions, people flipping around and stuff, and
and
action,
I think there's
excitement, things blowing up.
Adventure.
Yes, adventure.
But yeah, I think as the drill is going into the core, I think Austin hits the red button just to stop it just in time. So he
the big abort button. Yeah.
Yes, of course. The big red, hey, stop all this button. Apparently,
yes.
Apparently that's just a thing.
Yeah, and so Austin is holding Dr. Evil at gunpoint, and we kind of end Austin's arc about him fitting into the then modern world of 1997, so Austin finally concludes that 1997 is actually cooler than 60s because we've got freedom and responsibility. It's a very groovy time.
Yes.
Oh. And then Dr. Evil responds with one of my favorite lines: "There's nothing more pathetic than an aging hipster."
That line was perfect. I mean, my God, that's my credo.
It's a great line. It's a great delivery of the line. And there's also another funny bit with Scott Evil, where I think Dr. Evil talks about trying to kill Scott again, and then Scott just goes, "No, Dad, we just had a breakthrough in group." and Dr. Evil goes, "I had the group liquidated, you little shit. They were insolent." Which
was funny.
Such a wonderful supervillain line. Love it.
It's good stuff. And then I think at this point, number 2 comes in, and then he kind of betrays Dr. Evil, saying I've had enough of you pushing me around, and like so he tries to side with Austin in order to get Furchicon up and be bigger and better. But then Dr. Evil ends up throwing number 2 down that fiery pit through the trapdoor chair.
Yep.
And then he makes his escape.
Yeah, and so by this point the headquarters is blowing up, and we see Austin and Vanessa. They escape out into the Las Vegas desert. In this scene, I am almost certain though is that scene of them escaping and getting into Austin's Jaguar was shot at Vasquez Rocks, which is a real famous movie location. You've seen it in lots of episodes of Star Trek, and it was even in the recent Picard series. It's on CBS All Access.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, and like it's used in the second Bill and Ted movie, and very distinctive rock shape, just sort of this diagonal rock jutting up into the sky, and it's apparently very close to studios. It's like just outside in Los Angeles, so it's a real easy location shoot.
Oh, wow. Dude, you're full effect.
Always fun to see Vasquez Rocks. Whenever I see it in a movie, I'm just like, hey, Vasquez Rocks. It's where Kirk fought the Gorn. Yeah.
It sounds like the name of a guy named Vasquez is really awesome.
Oh, Vasquez Rocks. I mean, they've played with Ming T and what was the name of that other band? The Meat Helmets.
Meat Helmets. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, triple bill.
They're gonna bring back Lollapalooza, and they're all gonna play together.
Vasquez Rocks. Yeah. All right, so Dr. Evil makes his escape into his escape pod. He shoots himself back into outer space, and Austin and Vanessa escape. The plant blows up, and they end up saving the day.
Yeah. And then after that, we cut to 3 months later. We discover that Austin has married Vanessa. They're on their honeymoon. Austin has gotten his teeth fixed. He gets a little sparkly thing on his teeth because dentistry has made many advances in the 30 years since he was frozen. Also, yeah, absolutely. Like Mike Myers is wearing these just hideous fake teeth through the movie, but it's very, very funny. And they explain earlier in the movie. Mrs. Kensington comes back and explains, like, in the 60s in Britain, you could be a sex symbol and have horrible teeth. That's just how it was done.
It was a simpler time.
It was a simpler time. So Vanessa has been made a full agent because apparently she wasn't before for some reason.
Yeah, that's when she said, "Oh yeah, you're a full agent now." It's like, wait, so she wasn't this whole time? She was just like, what was she doing before?
I think like somehow like the 60s came forward and just like the 60s sexism grafted onto Vanessa somehow. So she was, even though like Basil Exposition says like, oh, she's one of our top agents, she's still somehow a junior agent. I don't know, but anyway, she's a full agent now, so it's all good. And Austin is being knighted by the Queen, and everything's hunky dory. And then we have a little last minute thing. Again, another Bond movie homage where one of the henchmen comes back unexpectedly to try and kill Austin. You see this at the end of From Russia with Love, and you see it at the end of Diamonds Are Forever, where henchmen come back in both of those movies to try and kill Bond at the last minute.
Yeah. So we have Random Task coming back into play.
Random Task coming back, yeah.
Yeah, and he throws a shoe at Austin and hits him in the head.
And Austin is able to thankfully defeat him with the Swedish penis pump. That's tough to say. Swedish penis pump. You can't say that too quickly. Swedish penis pump. Swedish penis pump. Okay. Yeah. So that's like the Chekhov's gun of Austin Powers, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. It comes back into play. So he's able to pump him up and defeat him and send him on his way.
And, this might be a decent spot to note since Random Task just came back into the movie. Here's a little interesting trivia that I found on the IMDb trivia page for Austin Powers. It is the fourth item down. I'm just going to read it verbatim. And Darren, you have not heard this yet. So
I have not. No, sir.
Okay. So.
All right. Hit me.
Joe Sohn, the actor who played Random Task, is serving a lifetime in prison for torture of a 19-year-old woman in 1990. He went uncaptured.
Oh.
He went uncaptured until 2008 when a DNA match linked him to the crime. According to the victim, she unknowingly had a copy of this movie in her home until her attacker's identity was revealed. In 2017, he was sentenced to an additional 27 years for murdering his cellmates.
Oh no.
Oh. That's horrifying.
Holy cow. Jesus Christ.
Random Task in real life. He's got some shit going on.
Wow, so he's a murderer. And he's in wow.
He is a torturer and a murderer, but thankfully he is behind bars now. So if they ever end up making a fourth Austin Powers movie, I don't think we are going to see Random Task make a return.
I don't think his agent is I think his agent's kind of like, oh yeah, no, he's unavailable.
He is unavailable. He's no, this is not playing hardball. We're not looking for more money. He cannot make those dates. So so I read that this morning and I was like, oh my God.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's horrific.
That's something else, right?
That's something else, yeah.
But that's a movie, and during the closing credits, we've got Austin as a fashion photographer. He's having a session with Vanessa and Elizabeth Hurley, kind of going back to her supermodel roots. And we've got a song by Ming T, BBC, which it's a rockin' tune, man. It's an original song to this movie, but really fun stuff.
Yeah. It's a cute little, fun little, rocking little movie. This thing.
Yeah, and fun stuff. I really enjoyed going back to revisit this movie. It's a lot of fun. It's pretty much just as funny as I remember. I I mean, certain bits of it got kind of old because Austin Powers became one of those characters that everybody and his brother would imitate or dress up for as Halloween.
Yeah, like I remember, I mean, from what I remember, yeah, it was one of those things where it was like this movie was kind of for comedy nerds, like,
Yeah,
dorky people like us. But then, like, somehow it became, like, especially in the sequels, like Austin Powers, 2, Spy Who Shagged Me, and
yeah,
Gold Member, it became more and more mainstream and
yeah.
more like, just, Wall Street bros would say, yeah, baby, oh, shagadelic. Like, it
It
got to the
was,
point where it's kind of obnoxious.
yeah, it was the Borat of its day. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, like Borat. Yeah, like Borat and Anchorman is one of those things where people just quote it so much to the point where it becomes annoying and kind of hack.
yeah, it got a little driven into the ground, but we shouldn't necessarily blame the movie for that. I mean, it's just because the movie it did its job really well. It's a really funny movie. So
Right.
lots of less funny people latched onto it and are like, hey, if
Right.
I, we talked about this last week, but it's like, hey, if I say this line exactly the same way, only worse, I'll be just as funny.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All I need to do is repeat this, and I'm as funny as that person who created this.
yeah, exactly, exactly. It's like Ricky Gervais's character in the Office.
Oh yeah, yeah, baby, yeah, baby, yeah.
So, but a fun movie. I enjoyed it. It's like we said, it's on Netflix. It's a fun one to go back and revisit.
Right, you can watch all three of them. They're all on Netflix. Gold Member and Spy Who Shagged Me. Check them
Yeah,
out.
I wouldn't mind watching the other movies as well. I think I'm gonna space them out a little bit though, because I think watching 3 Austin Powers movies in quick succession would seem a little much.
Yeah, you can go a little loco with a little
Yeah.
too much sex. Little Doctor Evil goes a long way.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to OD on the Austin Powers, but yeah, I'd love to circle back around and do these movies, do the sequels sometime.
I would be down for that.
Yeah, yeah,
See you at the next pandemic.
yes, exactly. At the next pandemic. Um, so let's see. Do we have anything else? Do we have any other cool trivia about this movie?
No, not that one with random task. I mean, holy hell, that
That's the topper, right?
that was a piece of resistance. I can't even.
I mean,
I can't even.
we can't really top that one. So, so to review, Random Task Murderer, John Mulaney, not in the movie, and that is all you need to know.
I'm looking at that picture of him. That looks a lot like John Mulaney. Like,
Right? It's yeah, John Mulaney, time traveler. You heard it here first.
I guess so. Or maybe he's a vampire. Maybe he's ageless.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's certainly possible. It's certainly
He,
possible.
he
But
could be he could be the undead. Have we taken that into consideration?
I mean, John Mulaney's got something going on. Maybe he's an undead time traveler. We haven't figured it out. We're going to do further research in this area and keep an eye out for John Mulaney looking people in the other movies we watch on this podcast.
Mulaney watch.
Mulaney watch. But so what's do we have any cool Twitter questions from the Twitter followers?
Ruby the Rube had something about Daniel Craig.
Oh, okay. Well, let's hear this. Yeah.
So Ruby the Rube, friend of the podcast, says pulled something from the Wikipedia page that will be interesting to discuss. And I read Daniel Craig, who has portrayed James Bond on screen since 2006, credited Austin Powers franchise with the relatively serious tone of the later Bond films. We had to destroy the myth because Mike Myers fucked us. Craig said in a 2014
Yeah,
interview.
baby, he shagged him rotten.
No, this is my first time seeing this. That's why I'm laughing. Craig said in a 2014 interview, making it impossible to do the gags of earlier Bond films, which Austin Powers satirized. Huh. I did not know
I
that.
can see that. Yeah, I mean, you look at the modern day Bond movies, and Daniel Craig's been playing Bond since 2006. And yeah, they don't get as tongue in cheek or as goofy as the early Sean Connery ones did. They're not.
Yeah,
They're not.
Well, no, I mean, I kind of thought that was mainly because of. I mean, this might be a weird thing, but like, I kind of thought it was because of like the Dark Knight or anything. Because like, once the Dark Knight came out and Batman Begins, like you notice a lot of movies take more of a darker, serious, gritty tone to them. So I, mean, I thought maybe it was because of that, but it looks like
I,
maybe it was like because of Austin Powers.
I think it was maybe there was a bit of that in there. I think it was like probably like Austin Powers and the Bourne Identity movies doing really well. That they just knew if they did like a more goofy or slightly camp James Bond, it just wouldn't be accepted the way it was in like the Roger Moore days. So they kind of had to go more serious with it. But
Yeah.
but they're getting back to that. You know, we had Blofeld in the last one. Spoiler alert for Spectre, but you know it's been a
Whoa.
few years, so
Okay.
everybody knows it's Blofeld. It was Christopher Waltz in a Nehru jacket. How could it not be Blofeld, people?
Very true.
But but yeah, so I think the Bond movies had to kind of stir away from that, so they didn't come off as unintentionally funny, and yeah, so they have gotten more serious since the Austin Powers movies. I
Yeah.
think
So
Pierce Brosnan even said something to that effect once.
really.
Yeah, yeah,
All right. Well, folks, you have Mike Myers to thank for all these great new James Bond movies that's come out since.
that's right, that's right. In a weird sort of way, Daniel Craig owes his career as James Bond to Austin Powers. So, and you know, I hope at some point we get back to a James Bond movie actually being released, because the last one, No Time to Die, it's been delayed a few times. It's been delayed because they changed directors, and they, like, I think Daniel Craig injured himself at one point, and now it's been delayed because of the coronavirus. So
Yeah.
I
No time to release this.
I know no
We're gonna
time to release this movie. Yeah,
no, right? Yeah, baby.
yeah, you showed them.
Oh, good heavens.
But so I think that is the podcast for this week. We haven't. Oh no, wait, we do know what we're going to do next week. Darren, why don't you tell the fine people, what we're going to do next week while we're still in lockdown?
Yeah, well, we're still on I mean, we're assuming it's going to be like this for quite some time. So we got a suggestion from our good friend Ruby the Rube to do this movie that neither one of us has seen. It's called Saturday Night, 2010 film, directed by James Franco. So it's a documentary actually about how Saturday Night Live is made, and it's James Franco shot, all the behind the scenes stuff over a 6-day period from December 1st to December 6th of 2008.
Oh,
And
and
yeah, the film.
scouting them during a week that John Malkovich was hosting, right?
Yes, Malkovich.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, the film was originally a school assignment for Franco while he was going to NYU, and
Huh?
yeah, it was put out. So we're gonna talk all about this film. With neither one of us has seen it. I'm really excited to see this.
I'm looking forward to seeing this, because I've seen some other behind the scenes things on SNL, of course, but we've never done a documentary actually covering the show. So this is going to be interesting. This is also relatively recent. But okay, James Franco did this for his film class. How much do you think his classmates hated him?
Oh, ton.
What are you doing
Tons
for
and
your film project? Oh, I shot this. What did you do for your film project, James Franco? Oh, I followed Saturday Night Live.
I hate you, James Franco. I hate you so much.
I wonder what grade he got.
If he got like a C or something, that'd be a little bit of a.
That would be hilarious. And like some like, oh, you know, Chester, who shot a thing in the park, he gets an A. That would be hilarious.
Chester?
I'm looking at the Wikipedia entry for this movie now. Apparently, it was shelved for several years due to legal matters regarding the distributor and NBC.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. So yeah, this is a little on the obscure side.
Very much so. Like I kind of remember hearing something about this, but like I've never seen it.
Be very interesting, and because this was done in 2008, also appearing in the movie are Bill Hader, Fred Armisen, Will Forte, Seth Meyers, Lorne Michaels, of course, and Bobby Moynihan.
Yeah. So this is. I'm really stoked to see this. Like, I'm
Maybe
super.
even some female cast members as well. I mean,
Yeah.
but
Ooh,
they're,
it's
but
a
they're not listed
lady.
on the Wikipedia page, so who knows?
Ooh, it's a lady.
So yeah, we're both going to be coming to this fresh. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, I'm super crazy pumped.
Yeah. So tune in next Monday as we watch Saturday Night Live or Saturday Night, the documentary by James Franco.
Right. And yeah, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Darren Credible, DARIN Credible.
And you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Trumbull Comic, TRUMBULL, and the word comic. And you can follow the show's Twitter page at SNL Nerds Show. Please tweet us suggestions for future shows, comments about the movie, or questions about the movie we're about to do. And also, please, if you want to rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts, we really appreciate that too, because that helps us get the word out about the podcast. Oh, and we should give a little shout out to our buddy, one of our previous guests from the SNL Nerds. He went viral this week.
Oh, yeah. Hey-oh.
Our friend JL Colvin, who guest starred on our episode about Eddie Murphy and Lizzo back in December. He went viral with his Donald Trump impression.
Yeah, I know. Like he's had the best Donald Trump impression for a while now. It's really spot on. So the fact that people are starting to catch on to it and being like, "Oh wow, this is really good," and it's pretty dope. I saw that like he got tweets from people like Ike Barinholtz liked it. Eric Bogosian of all people retweeted it. Ken Olin, who I believe is the producer on This Is Us.
Yeah, and also an actor from 30 something. I'm just looking at it now. It has 82.7 thousand likes and 27.1 retweets on Twitter. That is amazing. And his album where he did Donald Trump, I think that shot up back to number 4 on the iTunes album charts. So yeah, JL is having a really amazing week, and it's really great to see.
Yeah, so check out his album. I believe it's called Fireside Craps.
Yeah. And if you want to check out the Eddie Murphy Lizzo episode, JL guest stars on that, and he talks about the how he does such a great Donald Trump impression. So if you're interested in that, please check that out.
Yeah, and follow him on Twitter, JL Calvin, JLCAUVIN.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's getting a lot of love this week, but he could always use a little more. So
absolutely.
Yeah. SNL Nerds Bump, baby.
Come on this show if you want to be a star, people.
Yep. We've got like 500 Twitter followers. He has over 60,000 now.
So you're welcome.
Welcome, JL. You're welcome.
We can make you.
And he also has a podcast where he plays Donald Trump, making podcasts great again. So check that out as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. But I think that is it for this week. We will be back next week with that Saturday night documentary.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I guess that's it.
I guess that's it. So, I guess we will just say, until then...
Oh, behave. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Yeah.
This has been a non-productive media presentation. Executive producer Frank Hablawi. This program and many others like it on the Non-Productive Network is distributed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial No Derivatives license. Please share it, but ask before trying to change it or sell it. For more information, visit Non-Productive.com.